Welcome to Appendix A for episode 12. I would like to talk about a couple of shorts from a guy called Etymology Nerd. This is a YouTuber I follow because you recommended one of his videos, actually.
Yes, specifically, if anyone's curious, the dolphin conlang.
Was it dolphin conlang? I thought it had something to do with how to form plurals in Old English.
This might be a little bit fuzzy between the discussion I had with you and the discussion I had with our producer, Steven, but I definitely know I brought up dolphin conlang very early on. It might have been the same conversation. It was a while ago.
Well, one of the things that complicates this, I'm sure, is that you talked to Steven, and it was Steven who showed it to me, saying, JD showed me this. And the video that he happened to show me was about plurals in Old English, and it was something that I already knew about. And so I knew that his information was correct, given the context that I knew about Old English plurals.
Was this for the past tense of yeet, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Yeah, past tense, not plurals, but that. And what he was citing was something I was familiar with. So given that his name was Etymology Nerd, given that, I like linguistics, and that this was a seed in my primary life, he became somebody who I began to follow, and I actually watch his videos a lot now. He puts out a lot of stuff about language and social media, and actually most of that I don't understand or care for, because I don't engage with social media enough to understand what he's talking about. But he's had some content recently about the algorithm, and I find it insightful and mind-shattering. There's a couple videos I want to talk about, linked in the description. Give them a watch, they're really short. And the first one is called, You Watch Everything Through an Algorithmic Gaze. This concept of the algorithmic gaze is a great way to express a portion of my concerns. I didn't have this thought or the language around this concept until I saw this video, but I thought it was a very interesting point about the media that we consume.
Yeah, and I've been hearing this being said for quite a while, like at least 10 years, probably since like 2014 it really picked up in YouTube communities to say, how do you farm engagement? How do you make sure your video gets recommended? The YouTubers love to go into, and there's different trends over time too, but it's definitely something that's been prevalent for at least a decade now.
I learned something big about how YouTubers market their videos recently.
Oh, really? Yeah, it always changes. Like, I know, like there was don't go over a certain time, and then there was long form for a long time that was heavily picked up by the algorithm. I think it's cutting back on that, but what did you learn?
I learned that you can pay the algorithm.
Oh my God. I've heard you can do this on Facebook too.
You can pay YouTube, and it will give you views of your thumbnail and views of your video projected. Like, obviously there's ranges and probabilities, but if you pay the algorithm, it will promote you.
I feel like we're slowly creating a algorithm religion, and we already invented tithes.
Yeah. It gives you increasing return on value.
I don't know if it's this short or the next one that he mentions it, but it's all about what makes the owners of the social media platforms money. So just shortcutting that by giving them directly giving them money makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like blatant and bold-faced. Like, that's exactly what it is. They're not even trying to hide it.
But getting back to what was specifically in the first video, it's about the idea that creators modify their look styles or even message in hopes that the algorithm may smile upon them. And this shows that we're long past the point of genuine media creation anymore. If this is what we have to be concerned about. Yeah,
it reminds me of when people were at first concerned about commercials in media, which is, I guess this is like, they were right ultimately. This feels like the ultimate expounded version of that. Like there were people back in the film industry who hated the idea of having ads in their movies. And then this is, the algorithm and the view and the whole content thing, ad revenue is like the whole driving economic force behind that,
Which the algorithm controls.
The way I see it, like this technology and this idea, this cultural thing of genuine media creation and commercialism more broadly, but I know we're narrowing in the algorithm here, but is that like it's just amplifying. It's almost like when you make a copy of a copy and the artifacts get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's so distorted you can't tell what it is anymore. And I feel like that fits in here in my head. Like the original one is like when you tell your friend a story just to entertain them, all the way down to the YouTube short and TikTok like recommended for you page is like we're getting pretty hard to see the through line at this point and understanding where we came from in terms of sharing stories or ideas. Yeah.
And when it's so prevalent everywhere and people are trying to please it everywhere, that is what reminds me of that copy degradation, that it's becoming self-referential.
Yeah, exactly.
It's becoming an echo chamber of the algorithm itself. Tolkien talked about how plays were a poor way to depict fantasy in his essay on fairy stories. He used the example of people dressed as talking animals requiring a massive amount of suspension of disbelief. Etymology Nerd cites philosophers who observed that film is better at lessening that suspension of disbelief, and then he takes it to the next level by applying this principle to the algorithm. In his example of a Christmas tree, the algorithm will only allow us to see the Christmas trees that it approves of. We'll never see the Christmas trees it doesn't approve of.
I have a lot of first-hand experience with social media algorithms, and sometimes I do feel like the algorithm itself, of course, always is showing you what it means to because it's showing it to you, but it does, I feel like, sometimes have a hiccup and show you things that the creator of the algorithm probably didn't mean for it to show. There's a lot of times of like, when I'm just mindlessly scrolling on Facebook and there's an ad for like most recent I can think of is a Philippines McDonald's, and like one of the words looks just like, I don't know, some sort of profanity word in English, and all the commenters are in English just typing out like the profanity word, and it's like, this is not what it was meant for at all. It's breaking, and it's kind of hilarious, but that's not the main. That's like a weird little quirk in the bump in the road. That's not what it's here for.
It's moments like that that give us hope that it's actually not perfect.
No, it's not yet, at least. Yeah, but it.
But as a general rule, though, it's doing what I would like to call algorithmic censorship. And I see this as happening one of two ways. First, either the algorithm could actively prevent the unattractive Christmas trees from appearing on your feed, or, more indirectly, creators stop making anything about the unattractive Christmas trees, so the content doesn't even exist. It's been discriminated against so hard that it just isn't being made anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of almost if the tree falls kind of thing. Like, if it's not being made or not being shown and you can't find it, what's really the difference? If you can't find it or if it's not being made, you're not able to view it, you know?
I suppose that if it's not made, it literally cannot be found. If it's not shown by the algorithm, it can still be found, just it takes someone with enough patience to comb through things till you get there. Like, there's a YouTuber I like, Brady Heron. He has many, many channels.
Yeah.
And I've actually gone through and watched all of his failed channels. They're super interesting. The algorithm just didn't bless them.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I will say that I know our podcast exists, but if I have tried to find it off of Google or YouTube search or in Spotify many a times, and without the direct links, I have trouble a lot of times.
Yeah.
The algorithm also picked up that I care about this for some reason, and every time a new episode drops on YouTube, I get to see it in my feed at least. But, you know, the algorithm shows it to me there, but like the search function, which still uses algorithms to determine what it shows you, it doesn't just show you exactly what you search, you know. Even if I type in exactly the name of our podcast and like, I think it's under your first name and last initial, stuff like that, I cannot find it just by searching for it.
Which I feel like you should be able to.
Yeah, I am waiting for the day that I can, so I can just tell people to search it instead of sending them the direct link when they ask about it, but that is not today. So, well, I wouldn't be saying all of this if we were this content's kind of safer from the algorithm, but I wouldn't even be saying this if this is posted on YouTube. I don't want to anger it.
This gets posted on YouTube.
This is the appendix, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is going to be the public one.
Oh no. Okay, we can do one snide comment about YouTube as a treat. I think it won't notice. Or we could cut it. We'll figure it out postscript.
Depends on how brave we want to be and how much we want to pay the algorithm.
Yeah. I don't have any money for you, but I'll give you some what's the polite word for it? Some adoring praise.
Well, we kind of went on a little side tangent there.
Yeah, sorry.
I had one final comment on this first video, that the situation of algorithmic censorship creates one of those situations where we get a version of the world that isn't reality. Like Denethor looking into the Palantir of the algorithm, we can easily forget that this entire world is what Sauron wants us to see.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I really like, because that kind of brings me back to our discussion about, does the Palantir actually show the future or only what is current? Which
it does not show the future, canonically.
Canonically does not show the future. It just shows the current events, but it could give you the wrong impression by showing you true, actual things that are happening.
Yeah. Like Sauron shows Denethor his armies in Mordor and how these Corsair ships are coming up from the south. And Sauron's not wrong about any of that. Mm-hmm. He does have vast armies in Mordor, and the Corsair ships are coming up from the south. But he doesn't show Denethor that Aragorn is going to take over the ships and defeat them and bring help instead of enemies.
Yeah, it's just, it goes to show you can almost paint any picture you want with the facts, which is kind of like why this algorithm thing is so scary.
Yeah, because it's doing a lot of the painting for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the second video is called This Video Survived, But What Didn't? And I feel that this video is basically about the concept that I called algorithmic censorship, without actually using that word. Mm-hmm. It does a great job illustrating the different levels of censorship and order in which the censorships take place.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was, I like this one quite a bit. Though they are great side by side, but this one kind of gets more into the nuts and bolts of the filters that the algorithm has.
Yeah. The videos that conform to the algorithm's idea of who you are end up making you who you are.
I hope not yet, but it's hard to say.
Well, they say you are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that maybe your thoughts are what you consume.
Yeah, yeah.
So the things we spend our time watching or interacting with in the media, in social media, are the things that we are taking into our brains the same way our bodies take in food.
Mm-hmm.
And if we take in a steady diet of processed algorithmic junk food,
yeah,
I think that maybe we lose some freedom in what we can think.
Yeah, and I have, full disclosure, not ever tempered my exposure to algorithmic content, so it's scary to think every thought I've had, at least since like 2014, could have not existed without Google wanting it there. It's a little bit, it's like cosmic horror.
Which is why I'm really scared about this, and I would like more people to take this seriously.
It's absolutely terrifying, and there's nothing you can do about it. It feels similar to like the whole spoon of microplastics in your brain. Like it's on that level almost.
Well, I think there are some things we can do about it. We can't eliminate it, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. And just because we can't see how we're going to completely end it doesn't mean we shouldn't do anything. They fought their way through Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith and went to the Battle of the Black Gate without knowing how they were going to win, but they fought anyway. And it's the values of Northern courage that keep you going even when you know you're going to fail.
Yeah, that all tracks.
So what we can do to work against it doesn't become unjustified.
Yeah, it's just like not to fall into the pits of despair, because it does feel like something a classic Lord of the Rings villain would say, but like I've already fallen. I'm already lost. Even if I stopped cold turkey now, there's 10 years of whatever the algorithm wanted me to think about bouncing around in my head.
Bilbo gave up the ring after 60.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't worry.
I'll pass it on to one of my nephews and have them just take care of it for me.
Yeah.
It sounds nice.
And I mean, I know I'm not free of algorithmic influence either. Mm-hmm. So, just because I have been doing some things does in no way means that I'm less affected by it. I think I'm very sensitive to it.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not that sensitive to it comparatively, so like less of it could hurt me more than more of it hurts you. It's not necessarily all linear and measurable.
This might be a gruesome comparison, but it's almost like when a burn victim gets burnt so quickly that their outer layer of skin prevents their internal organs from being damaged. I feel like maybe that might be going on.
Huh. That is an interesting analysis.
I don't know what else to say about it. But yeah, all I know is I've been thinking a lot about it. This probably deserves maybe its own little bullet header, but I have been thinking and planning a lot on how to avoid algorithms.
Yeah?
While still enjoying, I'm going to say, like, comfortable brain rot that isn't algorithmically generated.
Yeah?
It's really difficult, though.
I'm not talking about anti-brain rot. Like, I love watching some cat videos. Don't get me wrong. Like,
what I've turned to lately is I found emulators for like classic DS and Game Boy games that work on my phone.
Yeah?
And I'm playing games I remember from my childhood mostly. But of course, like, I still have to look up some games, so I'm still touching it there.
Yeah.
But I'm getting stuff
gonna touch it
from
somewhere.
the algorithm and then putting it in a non-algorithm space at least.
I love that. That sounds so great. And so much less algorithm. And yeah, you're going to touch the algorithm somewhere. It's inevitable, and that's where it makes you feel bad. But, you can't really do very many things without the algorithm these days, which is why it's so scary.
Eventually, it's possible to get yourself always one step removed if you're very dedicated to it, but then you're only just one step removed,
Which is important. And the more one-step removed people we get, then two-step becomes possible.
That is true.
So at this point, one step removed in many instances is like the best I think I'm going to be able to do right now.
Yeah, but like that's the first step is having people thinking about this at least and trying to think of solutions.
Yeah. Well, your story about the emulators sounds great. It sounds like a great use of your time compared to just eating the algorithm.
Then, just scrolling on any social media site. I'm not gonna. I called out Facebook a few times. It's the one I use the least. And they're all algorithmically based and all interested in making profit. So very scary combo, no matter where you're at.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you spell it. We're letting our conversations and experiences be limited by any of these websites, regardless of the names. And these websites are owned by Nazgul. They spread despair, fear, hate, lies, just like the Ringwraiths do. I'm kind of interested in trying to come up with 9 negative effects of social media and making them like the 9 Ringwraiths of social media.
Yeah. The thing I think would be, it's hard to pick just 9 that are like the big ones. You can name a lot of really bad effects.
Yeah.